This show is part of the RetroZap.com podcast network.
Ready?
Ready.
This is what you can look forward to on episode 163 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
It's actually after midnight for us over here, but we're having a blast with you guys.
Oh, I've never seen Star Wars? What?
Unless you can find a kid at Celebration and say, here's $5. Go run up to Dave Filoni and say, what happened to Ahsoka? And have a tear rolling down your eye.
It's like a Where's Waldo of Star Wars toys.
C-3PO with a R-rated appendage.
Kind of a smash parody between Star Wars and Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, I see that. Dun, 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 da, 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 da,
Exactly. That's what I'm hearing.
Because there's so much stuff, it almost looks like Fruity Pebbles everywhere.
Love this podcast.
Despite your insufferable egos.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Hello, Skywalkers.
Listen.
I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse.
Wow. Oh,
You are skywalking through Neverland.
Hey, Skywalkers! Welcome to Skywalking Through Neverland. This is your fun-filled Star Wars and Disney podcast that leads you on a tour through decades of fandom. I am Richard Woloski, and now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife, Sarah. Hey, Sarah.
Hey. I am excited to be here once again. Every week we turn on our Periscope, we turn on our Facebook Live, and we invite you guys to join us in our live viewing of our episode every week. And just so you guys know, we kind of do a pre-show before we start recording, and only the people who watch us live get to see that. So thank you, Skywalkers, for joining us. All right, and also, we like to start each and every show with a giant Wookiee hug to our family of Skywalkers who listen to the show every week, no matter if it's live or if it's later on in your car or while you walk your dog or while you're at the gym or wherever you happen to be. Now, we also want to say thank you to all of you who tweet at us. We are at Skywalking Pod, or posts in our Facebook group and just shares the collective adventure through fandom.
This is where fans go to find the bright center to the universe. Now, we are recording this from Long Beach, California on April the 4th, 2017.
It's April already.
It's April, yes.
Oh,
and
my
now,
goodness.
As always, I'm going to stall as I ask Sarah the time. Sarah and Minnie Mouse.
It's 11:13. Good morning.
Yay!
Good morning to some and good afternoon to others.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now, coming up on this show, we're going to be talking with two of the selected artists from the Celebration Orlando Art Show.
And I'm excited because they're married. They're a couple. So we're talking with Matt Busch and Lindsay Busch. Yay!
Who drew or painted, designed
Mm-hmm. They
created, there you go.
They created these beautiful prints
that just screamed out to us when we were going through the art show selections. And I'm so glad we got them both on to talk about these amazing prints that really called out to each one of us.
Absolutely. And you know what? They stayed up really late to do this interview because they're a couple hours ahead of us. So we want to thank them.
Yeah. Now, also coming up on this episode, we have Star Wars Rebels Inspirations. This is the segment where we listen to musical cues from the Star Wars Rebels series. And Sarah, you with your musical knowledge, will pick them apart and you'll tell us things that we heard but didn't know we heard.
Exactly. Yeah, we're going to look at Legacy of Mandalore and Secret Cargo. And once again, thank you to StarWars.com for sharing these Kevin Kiner scores, like these bits of score that we can use.
Yeah, and I know I always learn something, so good job, sweetie.
Thank you.
All right, also we have a Skywalker story from Matt Clifton. Who's with us right now. He's one of our face huggers.
Yay! And we also have shout outs.
We're going to give Rob Dellinger a couple of weeks off because he's got a lot of stuff to do. he's going to be scoring some themes for us for our podcast stage show.
Yes.
So, with a family and all, we thought, Rob, take a couple of weeks off from doing the Skywalker of the Weeks. Mm-hmm. You deserve it. Now get back to work on our other jingles.
All right.
But what we do have is things we want to share.
Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Things we want to share.
Celebration Podcast Stage Update. Stop what you are doing. This just in from Skywalking Through Neverland, an interactive fandom adventure. Celebration Podcast Stage Update.
So as you know, Skywalkers, we are going to be having a podcast stage show at Star Wars Celebration on Saturday, 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. on the podcast stage. We were so excited and honored to be selected.
Yeah, and once again, a big thank you to Mary Franklin, who moved us from opposite the Rebels segment to later on in the day after the convention is over. So we're the bridge between Celebration that day and the 501st Bash.
Yes.
So people can come and just relax if they're going to go to the 501st Bash.
Just chill out.
If they're not, then it'll be a good wind down to the whole day of having fun at Celebration.
Yes.
So perfect timing. Now, like we were saying earlier on last week's show, we're going to need some volunteers. This is not just a podcast recording show. No, this is a live experience show. So we're going to need some helpers.
Yes, and in fact, we need some people who are good at certain things. So here you go. Here's a rundown of the list. And now, if you think you can help us, please, what should they do? Tweet at us?
We should put out a post on Facebook.
Okay, so we're going to put out a post on Facebook and just look for that post. But here you go. These are the volunteers we need. First of all, we need someone to Periscope Live the show. We need someone to Facebook Live the show. These are going to be two different people on two different devices. We also need someone who's very techie that can roll in audio clips and can look at our outline and make sure they're doing the right thing at the right time. And someone who's comfortable on a MacBook, because that's what we'll be bringing. And we need someone who's just really good at the technical part. Because
with our show, we like to roll in a lot of sounds, a lot of clips, make it a full production.
Yeah.
So we need someone who's going to be able to do that. And once again, like you just said, Sarah, you'll have an outline of the show. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you're just guessing. You'll know when things are coming up.
Exactly. Now, Richard, this is an important one.
Yes, this one is very important. We need some bouncers. We need people who at 7 o'clock, when the show preceding us, can help us go in the room and just start clearing them out, getting them out of the room.
Someone who's loud, who can make an announcement.
Who's loud and very authoritative. Because, like last time for the stage show, we were trying to set up the show that was on before us, hung around, talked to their listeners, which is fine and all, but do it outside. Right now, we need this space.
Yeah.
And luckily, we had David Scale with us, and he's very, all right, guys, this is what needs to happen. Let's get it done. And he cleared that room in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
So we need a couple of people who can really take charge of that and just make big announcements, get everyone out of the room. That would be a huge help.
And normally we would do it, but we're going to be preparing.
Yes.
All right. We also need some swag giver outers. People who are there to give out our special button to the people who are arriving. And also raffle tickets as well. So we'll probably need 2 people for that. Swag giver outers.
Now, are we going to give away these classic Marvel Star Wars comic
I don't
pins?
Think, honestly, I don't
buttons?
think we'll have enough.
Yeah.
So, no, that's just a Fort thing.
Okay. So, for the classic Marvel Star Wars comics buttons, if you want to get one of these at some point during the convention, come on over to us and say, FORP! And you'll get one while supplies last.
Matt Clifton is saying he can be loud. And welcome, Timothy. Thank you for joining us. All right, so that's good. And then we also need a few stage assistants, the people who can be the runners and help give out prizes and, quickly while we run through our lovely raffle at the end of the show.
Yeah, so we're even predicting our show might go a little bit long and they might clear us out of the room, but we have a lot of stuff to give away to the Skywalker, so if anything, we'll do it out in the parking lot. You guys deserve prizes.
Yes. Oh, Claire Henry, yay, see you there too, yay. So those are the things we need, and we're going to do a post on Facebook and just request for volunteers there. All right?
Okay. Now, speaking of Star Wars Celebration Orlando, where are we going to be during this week and weekend?
Okay, so we, on Thursday, of course, we'll be at the convention all the time, but these are some locations and places where we know that we are going to be. So if you want to find us, this is where we'll be. On Thursday, the 13th, we're going to be at Drowning in Moonlight, and that occurs from 7:30 to 10:30 at the Rosen Center Hotel. Now, we might not be there the whole time, but we'll definitely be there for the podcasting portion of that. And I say that because also on the 13th, there is a RetroZap meetup going on, which we are proudly wearing our RetroZap shirts here. And that is going on as a before and after party next door at the Hilton Orlando in the David's Club Bar. So if you want to meet the team from RetroZap, including Joe Tavano, including many of the podcasters from RetroZap, it'll be a fun place to go if you need a drink and you need to chill out after the convention or even after Drowning in Moonlight.
Yeah. And then on Friday, April the 14th, Galactic Nights. This is going to be huge. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be at Disney's Hollywood Studios. And this is a one-night Star Wars celebration, all themed around Star Wars, kind of like what they did in 2010 for Last Tour to Endor.
Oh, that was such an amazing party. So we are so excited about this. Vanessa Marshall will be hosting 3 different
Rogue One panels.
Yeah, Rogue One panels, exactly. It's like a whole nother panel at the Disney parks. And I'm sure they'll have some special food and drink, and you can dress up. It's going to be super fun.
They do have a Starbucks at Disney's Hollywood Studios because that place is going to be mobbed if there is. Just caffeinated, and more to stay caffeinated.
You know, we're just not going to sleep pretty much.
Well, we've already started our Star Wars Celebration Orlando training.
Yes.
So we're trying to get as less sleep a night as possible just to prep ourselves.
And we're getting up earlier and earlier every morning, too, to get that 3-hour time gap going. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so that's that. Now, on April 15th, Saturday, podcast stage, 7:30 p.m., and we are doing Skywalking through 40 years of your fandom. It's going to be amazing.
Gonna go through 40 years of all the big happenings in Star Wars. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be really hard to pare it all down, but I think we got it. I think we got a good timeline.
And you Skywalkers are going to help us as well. Mm-hmm. You don't know it yet, but you are.
Mm-hmm. It's a very, very interactive show.
Mm-hmm. And also on April 16th, Sunday, we are going to have a Hoojib Hop with the Skywalkers. That's going to be at 1 p.m. And it's going to be in the Celebration Hall, probably maybe under the big Death Star or something. We'll find a meeting location that makes sense once we're there and let everyone know on Facebook. And this is going to be an interactive adventure because we're all going to do a scavenger hunt together.
Hoojib style.
Hoojib style.
And how is anyone going to know that we're Hoojibs?
Well, Amanda Bond has been working on Hoojib ears. It's going to be amazing.
It'll be so cute.
It's going to be cute. We're all going to put on our Hoojib ears. We're going to solve a scavenger hunt puzzle one at a time and all go together to the next location. And should we tell them what they're going to do?
Give me a hint. Give
me
a hint.
Well, we're going to be sharing whatever you take pictures with on social media. So that is going to be super fun. So if you're not there, you're going to see our pictures and wish you were there.
But you know what? Maybe we'll Periscope along the way so those Skywalkers who can't be with us will still be with us.
That's a good idea. We might have to do that. Okay.
Definitely.
All right. So we might need some volunteers for that too. Hoojib Hop. Yay.
All right. Then that Monday, the Monday after celebration, April the 17th, another Skywalker meetup at Epcot.
Yes, if you're staying beyond the convention and plan to hit the Disney parks, we are going to be at Epcot. And we're going to meet at 1 p.m. It's going to be about an hour meetup, 1 to 2 p.m. We are going to eat and drink our way around the Flower and Garden Festival. I am so excited about this. This is like my favorite thing to do at Epcot. So what better way to do it than with our Skywalkers?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. So we're going to eat and drink ourselves silly and then reward ourselves by going on to, what is that called? Figments of Imagination? Is that the name of that ride?
Yes. Hold on. Journey into Imagination with Figment.
And the only way to enjoy this or make sense of it is to be inebriated.
Yes. Thank you, Matt Clifton, for the suggestion. We thought it was brilliant.
It's a good thing Matt lives in Florida. He's like our liaison.
Yes. And for all of you Skywalkers who cannot be there, I know Rebecca Whitebrock is saying that she'll be watching. We're going to do live as much as possible during our meetups and otherwise. And we're, of course, going to be sharing pictures throughout the show. Also, Brian Sims takes some awesome photos, and he'll be sharing each day he'll be uploading tons and tons of photos from the convention. So
yeah, and if there's a tiger in the background or a lion, Brian will be right there. Or a dog.
Yes. Oh, that's cute.
We'll have to wear our hujib ears that day, just so he'll think we're animals and take pictures of us.
Oh, that's fun. Yay. So we are so excited, and we're so excited to share with you guys. And of course, we will be doing some podcasts after Celebration, just disseminating all this information, and it's going to be so fun.
It'll be our debriefing.
Yes, our Star Wars Celebration debriefing, and we might get, who knows, a few interviews as well.
Mm-hmm. Because we are working on future 40th anniversary shows, so...
Oh.
Just saying.
You never know who we'll run into in the autograph hall or in the press areas, so we'll see what we can get.
We'll get a lot.
Now, as a reminder, if you are a Skywalker at Star Wars Celebration or you want to see what other Skywalkers are doing at Star Wars Celebration, there's a special hashtag that we are using in addition to the normal SWCO hashtag. For Skywalkers, we are using the hashtag STNCO. So it's hashtag STNCO, and I've got it saved so that when I press SWO, it just spits out both hashtags. So everything that I will be tweeting will be that special STNCO hashtag that you can all follow.
And maybe I'll tweet once or twice.
Well, you'll have to save that hashtag in there too.
Already done.
Yay.
All right. Is that everything?
You know what? That's everything for Star Wars Celebration. So I think now let's talk with another Star Wars power couple, Matt and Lin Zy Busch, about their Star Wars Celebration Orlando artwork.
You've taken your first step into a larger world.
Is everyone excited to be at Star Wars Celebration?
My mind exploded.
Star Wars has the best fans.
This is amazing!
It's an incredible family experience for a lot of people.
It's awesome!
So awesome! One of the many highlights of every Star Wars celebration is seeing the new artwork from the handful of artists. This year, 32 artists were selected for the highly coveted art show.
We are thrilled to have the artistic power couple of Matt and Lin Zy Busch on Skywalking Through Neverland to tell us about their fantastic pieces, which we are very excited about.
Hey, Lindsay and Matt.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, thanks for joining us here. We're so excited to talk to you two about your amazing artwork pieces for Celebration.
Yeah, and in fact, Matt, it's so good to talk with you once again because in 2008 or 2009, I was one of your Slave Leias in the How to Draw a Slave Leia video.
I remember, and that was so much fun. And I know I've ran into you a few times since then at Comic-Con and Star Wars Celebration. But it's so awesome that you guys do this this podcast. And I have to say, I'm so excited to be on it because I've been familiar with your podcast for a long time. Because I always see it, like I see ads for it on different sites, and I see some of the amazing guests that you guys get. And before I realized who you guys were, or before I knew much about it, I remember for a long time I was always thinking, man, how do I get on Skywalking Through Neverland? That podcast, it looks awesome. Like, how do I get a piece of that, man?
Well, all you had to do was draw an amazing piece for Star Wars Celebration Orlando that just speaks to me like one-on-one. But you know what? We'll get to that in a second. But before we do that, we want to hear about your backstories and how you became artists and how you became a power artist couple.
Ladies first.
Okay. Well, I've always done art my whole life, even in high school, and obviously got a degree in college. And I've always loved every aspect of art in every way, shape, and form. So it was by no coincidence, meeting Matt and getting into Star Wars and loving all that stuff. So one thing just led to another, really, for me. I just kept drawing and finally achieved my dreams.
Oh, when did you two meet? Like, what year was this?
This would have been 2010. But,
Okay.
there's a lot of, and I won't bore you guys with details, but when we met, there was a lot of really odd coincidences where Lindsay was really good friends with my younger brother's friends, and we both went to the same high school, but years apart, so we were never there at the same time. I was there at the same time as her sister. She was there at the same time as my sister.
Wow.
Just all these really crazy coincidences that, but we met at the right time, in the right place. And Lindsay downplays her background, but she has this incredible background in puppetry and grew up, a Disney girl and loved Star Wars. And it's just so neat that all these things that were so cool when we were a kid, but then like you start to get a little bit older and it's not as, I don't know about you guys, but it wasn't as cool. There was a period where it wasn't as cool to be into stuff like Disney or Star Wars.
Absolutely.
But now it's like the community fandom for both Star Wars, Disney, and even, Marvel and the comics and everything. It's so awesome now, and it's so cool, and it's cool for everybody, and it's just so awesome how it's embraced these days. I never knew it was going to be this big,
Oh, yeah, pop culture sure has shifted, because back in the 80s or 90s, if you said that you were a Star Wars or Disney fan, you'd never hear the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
But now, if you say you're not a fan, you'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah, or like, oh, I've never seen Star Wars. What?
Like,
You've
oh
never
my
seen
God,
Star
everyone
Wars?
stop the room. Who is this person? And show them the door.
Yeah, don't let people know if you forget the name of the planet Jeddah.
Oh, how can anyone forget the name of Jeddah? Come on.
Right.
So, were you both Star Wars artists when you met, or did one inspire the other?
Yeah, I guess that's where my background. I grew up with Star Wars. It came out when I was 4. I have this. I'll give you the bullet point story, but the fun story that kind of happened with me was I was so into Star Wars. I would draw the little TIE fighters that look like the capital letter H with like the circle in it and the pew pew, the lasers and all that. But the interesting thing that really kind of sparked in me was way back in the day there was a Scholastic book thing that would come to our school where you could like order books like Encyclopedia Brown and all that. And I was really into the two big things that ruled my world when I was a little boy was Star Wars and pop-up books. I loved pop-up books. So the fateful day came when the Star Wars pop-up book was offered in this Scholastic newsletter that came out. And so I ran home, I showed my mom, and I begged my mom to order it, and she wouldn't because I never read any of the other books that she ordered for me.
Oh.
So as the story goes, though, I was so upset, but instead of holding my breath until I turned blue or something like that, I marched up to my room, I pulled out the construction paper and the magic markers, and I made my own, at 4 or 5 years old, made my own Star Wars pop-up book. And so the great thing about it was my mom was so impressed, she secretly ordered the book for me after seeing that. And so when the books came in, I remember, being real upset. We used to have desks that you could open up, and you could put stuff inside your desk,
Mm-hmm.
So I remember I had my Star Wars pop-up book with me, and I was really kind of upset that I was like one of the only kids that wasn't going to get this awesome pop-up book. So I remember I had my desk flipped up and I was looking through my own Star Wars pop-up book as I could hear kids, saying, "Oh, this looks so cool." And then I realized the teacher was calling my name and she was like, "Matt Busch, get your buns up here." And so I go up and there's a Star Wars pop-up book for me. And I'm like, this must be a mistake, But anyway, it was this triumphant thing as a kid, but it really taught me about kind of going after your dreams, and if you believe you can achieve kind of thing. And even if you think something's out of your grasp, if you put your all into it, anything can happen,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My dream back then from Scholastic was to get as many Dynamite magazines as I could.
Dynamite and 3-2-1 Contact and
Pizzazz.
Oh yeah,
Pizzazz. That was Pizzazz and Hot Dog.
Man, I love those Scholastic books. Well, it sounds like you two are from the Midwest. Do you?
Yes. Can you really tell?
I can tell because all my relatives kind of talk like that.
I was thinking Canadian.
No. Well, I was wondering where are you from?
We are based in the Detroit metropolitan area. We are very close to Canada,
Nice.
and we're next door to Minnesota and stuff. So we have the accent.
No, that's super fun. All my extended family comes from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So
good.
I know it well. So whenever I hear that accent, it's always like, oh, family. So
And you guys are based in, I'm sure in Southern California, but near Anaheim or Los Angeles?
Yeah, we're right in Los Angeles, 20 minutes away from Disneyland.
Yeah, we're in Long Beach.
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know.
Awesome.
Now, we've got to talk about your pieces of artwork, because when Sarah and I were scrolling through the great many pieces of art on the Celebration website, two pieces called right to us.
Yeah, so I was scrolling and I'm like, oh my gosh, this amazing Ahsoka Japanese scroll piece. I love this. I mean, it's depicting her descent into wherever she is. And I was like, okay, I love this. And then I had Richard go through it, and Richard,
wow,
what piece called out to you?
Well, this piece that looked like some artist went into my bedroom when I was 8 years old and just drew everything that I had.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so it's funny that those two pieces that called us out to us belong to the two of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
So, Lindsay, your Ahsoka Japanese-inspired piece is called Journey into the Underworld. Can you tell us about this piece and why it has this Japanese influence?
Well, funny enough, I actually study martial arts. So I've been doing it ever since I was a little girl. So I'm always in the dojo practicing, and one day I happen to be in there, and I'm always, inspired artistically in that way too, because it really is an art. And I happen to be looking at the wall, and I saw this beautiful scroll on the wall in the dojo, and I'm going, gosh, that would make a beautiful print, and I didn't even know at the time exactly where I was going to go with it, but that was sort of my first jump off point. And the style of martial arts I study is actually called Shirinji-ryu, so it is a Japanese style. So that was kind of the original thought process. And then just looking at all of the beautiful evocative images that, Dave Filoni had kind of come out with, I started piecing this pathway or journey, if you will, together for Ahsoka. And of course, I love her. So, as does everyone, right? Never underestimate the power of Ahsoka. so I hated to see her go, and hopefully she's still with us, working on that. But I don't know, just her journey and kind of that was my inspiration.
Well, yeah, and I love, at the top left corner, you have her going into the cavern mouth, but you've actually made it Darth Vader's helmet.
Yeah.
Now, was that your idea there?
Yeah, that was, I don't know why, when I saw that first image, because that was one of the Topps cards that Dave Filoni inspired by that, he had her standing in this triangle shape.
Yeah.
And to me, I just thought, obviously they have such a history together. What about, what better way to kind of show that than to have her a part of, him, and then just symbolic in that way.
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful. And I want to know, what medium did you use to create this?
I use a lot of different stuff. It's sort of a mixed media technique. Some acrylic washes, some Sumi ink washes, some color pencils, some pen. So kind of just mixed.
Wow.
I have to apologize. If you guys hear some weird noises, it's National Puppy Day today. And so our pug is, our little pug is with us. And I just got attacked. And
okay, that's what was happening.
If you were hearing some weird noises.
With puppy kisses.
Aww.
Well, we can have puppy kisses. Yeah. That's okay.
Now you're making me jealous. It should be Puppy Day every day.
I agree.
Yeah, the Vader almost looks like Skull Island, like King Kong, like Skull Island. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw that, and hopefully Dave Filoni can look at something like this and go, I can work that in somewhere.
That would be great. I would appreciate that.
Yeah, right?
We're definitely hoping. We talk to Dave every time we go to the celebration. He always comes by and is cool enough to hang out with us. But we're definitely going to try to get the 411 on this piece and
good luck.
See if he'll shed a little bit more insight into those evocative images he creted.
Unless you're 9 years old, he's not going to tell you nothing.
Yeah.
Do you guys have kids?
Yeah, unless you can find a kid at Celebration and say, here's $5. Go run up to Dave Filoni and say, what happened to Ahsoka? And have a tear rolling down your eye. He's not going to deny that.
You know what? My nieces might be stopping in for a day. Maybe I'll put them up to it.
Yeah, make it a point.
There you go.
Make it a point.
Oh my goodness.
All right, now, Matt, your artwork, your piece, 40 years of cosmic collectibles. Now, let's dive into this one. Did this idea come right to you, or did you toss around other ideas first? How did you come up with this concept?
Oh man, I think I had been thinking about this one for a while, and it just it took a long time. It actually probably took longer choosing what pieces I was going to put in it and where, because I wanted to have a fair representation of everyone's favorite characters, but also a good representation of Lego minifigs and the Kenner figures and. There is a lot of the old school collectibles on here, but it does go through the years, so you'll see everything on through like the Chewbacca mom mask.
That's right. It's like a Where's Waldo of Star Wars toys.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just something. It was definitely a trip down memory lane, and a lot of it was stuff that I had or my friends had, or I wanted to have collectibles that are really cool, but I also wanted to have collectibles that were really rare, and then I also wanted to have collectibles that were really strange. And I think I've got a good mix.
Were there some items that you had to have in this piece?
Yeah, and I would say almost everything was like a must-have, or at least a good half of the stuff in there. But like, I had to have the Revenge of the Jedi poster, and then I wanted to have things that were a little more strange, like the C-3PO tape dispenser is one of the stranger items. But then there's like the one of the first Star Wars pins that came out. They spelled Darth Vader's name wrong.
Darth Vader lives.
Darth Vader.
Yeah, I got that when I was 7 years old, and every year since then, it's been a Christmas ornament.
Well, it's the first ornament we put on our Christmas tree every year.
Every year, I still have that.
Awesome.
Wow.
So when I saw that, I thought, oh, you know what? I put my credit card number out on Facebook. I probably shouldn't have done that.
Well, you also have the Darth Maul, what is that? Star Wars Insider.
Yeah.
Darth Maul cover.
You know what? We were just talking about this right before we saw this print.
Yeah. That's like the Star Wars Insider that sticks out in my head. Oh my gosh.
But we were literally just talking about that right before we opened this up. Boy, that was a strange coincidence. You have the Imperial Troop transport on there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Patrol Dewback and the Luke Skywalker from 1995 with the Power of the Force He-Man chest.
Right, the buff Luke Skywalker. Yeah.
A friend of mine actually sculpted those figures, and he kept telling Hasbro, no one's gonna buy these. Mark Hamill does not look like this. But
Right.
if kids are gonna buy toys today, they gotta look like this. And the C-3PO card from series. This is the 4th series. And it's hidden behind some things. Like the General Grievous is hiding C-3PO's Photoshop part.
Yeah, I had to put that in there. So for people that know what it is, it's they get a chuckle, and for people that don't know, or for kids that don't know, they don't need to know. But yeah, so that it was really fun putting in some Easter eggs like that for sure.
Yeah, what?
Sarah, do you know the story behind the
don't.
infamous C-3PO card?
I don't.
Right here in the center.
Yeah, I see.
There's a picture of C-3PO, and someone in Lucasfilm thought they were being funny, went into the archives, gave C-3PO a protruding piece.
Uh-oh.
And thought, hey, no one will ever find this out. So when they were selecting all these images for the cards, they happened to select this one with C-3PO with a R-rated appendage.
Oh no!
And no one proved
so
it beforehand.
you can imagine when little kids like myself got this card, and we were like, "What?"
I don't remember this scene in Star Wars.
Yeah, it was crazy. And so the funny story about it, they eventually they corrected it. So there are versions of the card where the photo is fixed, but the funny thing is the fixed card is actually worth more because there's less in circulation. So the fixed cards are harder to find. So it's crazy.
So we don't know which one is on your poster.
That's true. That's true. You don't know which one. Yeah.
Gotta ask General Grievous to move. Is there an item on here that's most personal for you?
I would say at the bottom, the Star Wars pop-up book. It's right next to Jawa, and it's flipped open to the Sandcrawler. But that was the big thing that changed my world. That made me want to make my dreams come true. And put forth a little elbow grease and make it happen.
Do you find some of your artwork being inspired by that specific brand or style of artwork from that pop-up book?
No, and in fact, it's interesting. What's interesting as an artist, I think, is you go to school, you learn how to create artwork, you learn all these different styles, but a lot of times you're learning like art history, and you're learning, from the masters and Leonardo da Vinci, and then contemporary painters and stuff. So it's funny when you go back and you revisit something, and sometimes it'll be, years or decades, and I'll look back at like the packaging of like a toy that I had when I was a kid, and it's so interesting not only looking at something that I haven't looked at in decades, but when I was a kid, I would look at a painting and I would be just so blown away by it, and like, oh, that's, something I could never do. And now I go back and look at some of this stuff, and some of it looks like really easy. Like, oh my gosh, I remember as a kid just being blown away by that. And man, I could do that now. Or, it's so...
That's like music for me. I understand, where you're coming from there.
Yeah.
All right, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not seeing any Ahsokas on here. No, I found one.
There's two.
There's one. There's a Lego minifig next to the Star Wars.
Way up at the top by the guitar, there's...
Hold on. I'll find it. Ah, there she is.
Yep.
Oh,
it's a little Ahsoka
is that
pin.
an itty bitty? Or Ahsoka pin. The itty bitty hasn't come out yet. It's coming out at Celebration. I'm so excited.
Yeah, boy, this is a very interactive piece.
Yeah. Okay, well, so what medium did you use, Matt?
For this, because there's so much stuff, it almost looks like Fruity Pebbles everywhere. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to do it like fully painted. It would have taken a lot longer, but I think it would have just been more, almost more of a mess, to kind of look at. So I wanted to make it a little bit more graphic, using line art and also using limited color to just kind of help the contrast, the graphicness of it, try to help separate everything and make it. It's real easy when doing something with a lot of stuff like this to really make it cluttered. Mm-hmm. And it is cluttered, but hopefully in a good way where it just keeps you looking at it and discovering new things in it. But yeah, so anyway, so it's just ink and limited watercolor.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, Lindsay, how big is your Ahsoka print?
Mine is 12 by 36.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So it's like a yard long.
It's almost like a...
And a foot wide. Wow,
like
nice.
Like half the movie poster.
Exactly.
Correct.
Okay.
See, that'll fit right there on my wall, right over there.
Yes,
Richard.
that's why I did it, just for your wall.
Well, that's so thoughtful. Power couples think alike.
Yeah.
And Matt, what size is your print?
It also is 36 inches tall. So it's the height of a movie poster, but it's just a little bit wider. It's 16 inches wide. It's somewhat of an odd size. Lindsay's, you can find frames at like Michael's and Target.
Yeah.
You can find frames that size. Mine you can't, but if you go on Amazon and you type in frames that are 16 by 36, you'll find all kinds of awesome frames.
That's good to know.
For pretty good prices, ready to go.
Oh, that's good to know.
That's very, very good to know.
I'm going to write this down. All right, so I have a question because on both of your prints, let's open this. Both of your prints, if you scroll down to the very bottom, there is a section for your signature and the limited edition print number, and then there's also a box. Like on Lindsay's, a box is on the left side, and Matt, you have like three boxes down there. So, and then I noticed when we go to your website, mattbushstore.com.
Yes.
Is that correct? mattbushstore.com, and you go to, you find the options for the product. You can buy your prints, but you can also do an upsell here, which is to get them remarked. So can you talk about this a little bit? And Lindsay, why don't we have you talk about this?
Sure. So down at the bottom, keeping in the theme with the Japanese idea, I did want to do like a artist, stamp signature area there in the red. But additionally, the remark, I would like to draw Ahsoka there.
Oh.
So I tried to design it in a way where I could do, it looks good without, but it'll look even better with. So it takes a little extra time and care, but...
Yeah, so I can see that you can add her. Is it like a Ahsoka silhouette of her face?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Side
that'll
profile.
be beautiful.
And there's 1,250 of your prints.
No,
Oh
250.
no, it's a slash.
Oh.
So when you write the number, it's that number of 2050.
You mean 250.
Oh yeah, 250.
And that's why we edit.
You just keep adding to the number. It's good.
Yeah.
That's a lot of prints.
And so now, Matt, you have some blank space as well. What would you draw in your remark space?
Well, the one way over on the right, that's just where it's signed and numbered, and all of them will come signed and numbered. The square in the middle is going to be where I do a remark, and I will, because it's the 40th anniversary of Star Wars, and this is all the collectibles and stuff, I will essentially draw any Star Wars character you want for the remark at the show. They're all done at the show. And of course, keep in mind, these are Sharpie sketches, so sometimes people see our fully painted stuff and they think that, our remark sketch is going to be... and our remark sketches are actually pretty darn good, if I don't say so myself. But they're not, they're not fully painted or fully colored. This is, we're armed with Sharpies, so...
and we're on a time restraint, too, at the show sometimes, so...
So we take a couple minutes to do a really sweet doodle and personalize it. And then the box way over on the left, I'm ironing out the details. I have something really cool planned, but I have to wait before. I don't want to announce it if it's not going to happen. Oh. So I'm waiting for some more details on that. But either way, there will be an additional really cool thing for the box that's over on the left, making this truly a one-of-a-kind collectible that I think everyone's really going to dig.
Wow. So basically, remark means a sketch, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
You guys are doing. Okay. Yeah. And for those of us who may be like, oh, your print is so awesome by itself, why do I need a sketch? Do you have an example of some of these sketches that you guys have done, like somewhere we can go?
Yeah, if you go to mattbush.com or if you go to even Matt Bush store, we don't have one up yet because we actually just got these actual prints within the last couple days, so we haven't had a chance to get them to get examples of the remark sketches on our site. But if you look at some of our past celebration prints, we do have examples on those pages in the store, kind of what these sketches look like. And the reason why it's cool is because, the print by itself, it's cool because you've got one of 250 prints that are exactly the same, but they're limited, so you really do have kind of a rare collectible. Mm-hmm. But if you spend the little bit extra dough to have us do a remark sketch, now it's personalized. It's a one-of-a-kind collectible, and no one has the exact print that you do that has the sketch, and obviously you've got the special number. We also, some people go in order for the numbers, and it's kind of a first come first serve. We let people choose their numbers, and then we cross them off a list. So if you have a lucky number, or if you want to go with like 77, for 1977, or if you guys have like the date that you guys were married, or like a birth date or something like that. People always have lucky numbers that they think is fun to get for their print.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, let's talk. Because these prints are both so beautiful. So, you'd think they'd be worth a lot. So can you guys tell us what the prices are for these and the upsell of the remark sketch?
So for the Ahsoka print, I'm doing $45 as is, and then with the remark sketch, it would be $65.
Nice.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's like a deal, man.
That's very affordable.
Yeah.
You don't mind me saying. That's great. And Matt?
Mine is $50, just because it's a little bit bigger, and then for the remark, it's $75. That also is a little more, but that's because it keeps me on my toes. Lindsay's probably going to be drawing Ahsoka, and people always are coming up with really interesting, like, can you draw Garandin the Kubaz, or can you draw some random, character that, Lobot or whatever? And it's like, oh man.
Who would you have draw, Richard?
Yeah. And then you're going to spend like 35 minutes on your phone. Siri, look, Alexa.
Yeah. Right.
What is this? What is this 3-year-old kid asking me to do? You know what? For my remark, I'm going to want Matt to draw me that knockoff lightsaber that kids got in 1977 with a flashlight.
Oh, jeez. The laser sword?
Yeah, the laser sword. That whenever you hit something, it would just break right apart.
Oh, yeah.
So, Sarah, you were asking me what picture I would want Lindsay to draw down there?
Oh, well, she's going to draw. So, although, Lindsay, do you take requests?
Sometimes I do.
Hoojib.
Oh.
What was that?
Hoojib.
Oh, a Hoojib. Use the planet of the Hoojibs.
You have the Corvairs flying all around.
Yeah.
We need to be representing the Hoojibs.
My gosh.
Wait a minute, Matt. I just saw your Planet of the Hoojibs.
Oh, does it have it?
The record book.
Oh.
Yeah. As soon as I said that, I looked over and it's like, it's right there.
You know what that means?
Now Lindsay's obligated to do a Hoojib.
Well, know that you guys
are
Team Hoojib. You're Team Hoojib. Okay.
Yeah. Sunday morning of celebration, we're gonna have a Hoojib hop.
Really? Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
For Easter, that's awesome.
Yeah, and we have someone making little Hoojib ears for everybody, and
yeah.
So we'll
that's awesome.
We'll send you the invite when we know what we're doing and where it's going to be. Hopefully, you can make it.
That's
awesome.
Fun.
How many celebrations have you two been to?
Oh, I am so glad you asked, because I don't like to boast a lot. I'm sorry, I'm messing up my words already. It's a late night for us. It's actually after midnight for us over here. But we're having a blast with you guys. I am I don't like to boast, but I am the only artist who's ever exhibited at every single Star Wars celebration worldwide.
Whoa!
So I've been to all of them. And exhibited at all of them. And it's funny because the art shows have become so big and so many artists exhibiting. But the very first Star Wars celebration, the only two official Star Wars artists that were there exhibiting, believe it or not, was me and Drew Struzan, if you can believe that.
Oh,
wow!
So I was in really good company, and he's one of my idols for sure. So I was just tickled pink to be set up right next to him, and just an awesome guy he is.
Oh my
goodness.
That's
some good real estate there.
Yeah. What about you, Lindsay?
This is my 5th or 6th
6th that you've
6th
been to.
that I've been to. 5th that I've exhibited and been an artist. You know.
Oh, nice. And I noticed that you like to cover like Star Wars Rebels.
I do.
Yeah, which is great. I think what was it, for Europe, you had a Sabine piece.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes. That was for Anaheim.
Oh, it was for Anaheim. Okay.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And I loved that too. I had a great time with that because, she's an artist and I wanted to do her in an art style.
Oh.
So that was so it kind of worked out great.
Has Ashley Eckstein seen your work?
Yeah, she has. I don't know if she's seen this piece just yet. I'm sure she'll probably get some people asking for signatures at the show. That's usually how they see them,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Take the prints up to them to get them sign it too.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
That's a
great
very
idea.
good
Makes
idea.
it even more original and unique. So I'm all about it.
Wow. And then have Dave Filoni sign the Corvée. What is that?
Corvair?
No, it's not a Corvair.
The Convor?
Convor. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. It's funny that you guys said that because I think that's been up for debate about how to pronounce that.
Well,
whether it's a carnivore or
Yeah,
carnivore,
yeah.
I think it's Convor. I mean, that's how we've been saying it on our podcasts.
Okay.
But then Convory, I believe, is the plural of Convor.
Okay.
And it has to do with Anne Convor. I know it's Dave Filoni's wife, whose name is Anne Convor, I believe.
Wow, I did not know that.
He named it after his wife, which is beautiful.
Nice.
I'm going to call it a hujib.
Oh, Convories.
Yeah, so
yes.
singular, it's convor.
Mm-hmm.
So as a species, together, it's convorees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at that. We're all learning a little something here.
Very good.
Anne Convory is Dave Filoni's wife.
Oh, there you go.
Very good.
Yeah.
He just texted us and told us.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
And by texted us and told us, I meant we looked on Wikipedia.
Very good.
Well, you know what? I'm just also noticing the blue snaggletooth on.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Richard, this is
there's
like your
the blue
print.
one and the red one.
Blue one and the red one, yeah.
Wow.
I just keep getting mesmerized by it. I gotta.
And I just noticed the wolves on Lindsay's print here.
Yeah. Yeah, the wolves I hit in there too.
See? There's more
Wow.
to see in both. Richard, we have to go online and pre-order these, okay?
Can you order them at the convention itself, or do you have to pre-order them?
Yeah, what they do is 200 of them are available for pre-order, and ours are moving really good. And not that it's a competition, but Lindsay's are moving faster than mine are. No, it's awesome. And then, but there are at least, in case we do sell out of the pre-sale, there will be at least 50 that we reserve to sell at the show.
Okay.
And then anything left over, if we don't sell out of the pre-sale, will be available directly at the show as well.
Okay, nice.
All right. Well, so where can we find you at Celebration Orlando? Do you have booth numbers yet?
Yes, we do, and our booth number is 2610, and we actually have probably the best location we've ever had. We are right when you go through the main doors of Hall B. We are going to be just kind of one block down on the right. If I'm not mistaken, we're going to be right after Rancho Obi-Wan, and we are going to have a ginormous booth for both Lindsay and I. We've got 4 booths, lots of Star Wars, and lots of our art and other projects we got going on too. So we're just super excited about it.
Wow, well, we can't wait to see you guys at Celebration. We'll definitely be stopping by.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta
pick up our works of art.
Yeah. Woohoo. So have I convinced you, Richard? Can we get them?
We were decided that day
okay.
when we opened these up. It's like, here you get. I literally put our credit card number up on Facebook. But yeah, we're like we were saying earlier. These are the ones that really jumped out to us, and we are so excited about them. And
awesome.
Now,
so glad to hear that.
if anyone wants to reach out to the two of you on social media and websites and
anything else you want to
anything
plug,
else, yeah, by all means,
let us know. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say mattbusch.com is the easiest way to get a hold of me, and that's MATT. It's BUSCH, so it's actually spelled like the beer, not like the shrub. And then Lindsay?
Yeah, and then mine is at with Love Lindsay. And my name is spelled Linzy. And that's my YouTube, that's my Twitter, that's my Instagram. So that's a pretty easy way to get a hold of me.
Excellent.
What kind of YouTube videos do you do?
Gosh, all kinds. I have one parody cartoon called Power of the Force Girls. That's a kind of a smash parody between Star Wars and Powerpuff Girls.
Ooh.
That I did for fun. Me and Matt put labor of love, but it was fun. It was so fun.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then lots of other personal kind of silly videos that we have up there. Matt has all the You Can Draw Star Wars videos up.
Right. I was going to say, Matt, do you still do the How to Draw Star Wars series?
No, that was a labor of love, and I did a total of about 24 episodes, and then I ran out of juice. I was like, man, I gave away all my secrets. I ran out of secrets, so I do miss them. I may resurrect something like that in the future, but lots of things that I want to do. In the meantime, lots of cool projects. Definitely, you guys got to come by and see all the cool stuff we got going on. I know you guys are really going to dig some of the fun stuff we have at the show. So please stop by. It'll be great to see you guys anyway.
Awesome.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah. Well, it's coming up in just a matter of weeks.
I know.
All right, you two. It is after midnight there, so go get some sleep and tell your little doggy happy puppy day.
All right, we will. If she barks.
Shout-outs, Skywalker shout-outs. Which Skywalkers get props from here in Neverland? Who was tweeted out? Shout-out. Who was photobombed? Shout-out. Who was shared a post? Shout-out.
Skywalker selfies are flooding Twitter. We love them. Oh my goodness, there were so many this week. So I'm going to give a shout out to a few. Connie she tweeted this morning a picture of her in a waiting room and said, "At my dentist's office waiting for an impromptu appointment, listening to episode 162 to pass the time." Aw, and she later said that it calms her, which is good. Because who likes the dentist?
I love the dentist.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, at the end, they give you candy and a little plastic ring. I love it.
Oh, okay.
Well, they don't necessarily give it to me.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it isn't the dentist I'm thinking about. It's more of the 99-cent store. And when I say they give it to you, they don't really give it to you. You got to pay for it. You got to wait in a long line. And then pay for it.
Uh-huh.
Then find your car keys. And get in your car and then go to the dentist.
I'm just wondering where you're going with this.
You were asking me if I like the dentist. Come on, Sarah. Keep up, would you? Keep up. All right, let's keep up with Christopher Marino.
Yay!
At Mental Madness. And he tweeted a picture of him doing this. What to do on your birthday. Well, he's listening to Sky walking through Neverland at WonderCon and eating an ice cream sandwich. Best birthday ever.
We thought that was cute. I love that.
So happy belated birthday to Christopher Marino.
So people are listening to us on their birthday. Also, people are listening to us at Disneyland because David Manderville, who is at DW Manderville, he tweeted a picture of him and Luann, the Mandervillians, and they were on the People Mover at Magic Kingdom and said, "Greetings, Jedi Tink and Sith Rich." So, hashtag Skywalker selfie. So I love knowing what you guys are doing while listening. Ryan Stampley was driving between mines in Australia. Swara of the Beltway Banthas podcast was doing pull-ups at the gym. Saber Guild Outer Rim was waiting for an appointment looking like Santa Claus. And Uncle Jerry was at work with his fleet of Star Wars starships. So it was so cool. So many Skywalker selfies, so let's keep it going. So guys, stop, pull out your phone, go click, take a selfie, whatever you're doing right now. And, oh, you know what? We should do it now too. Okay, are we going to do it?
We're going to do it right now.
We're going to do it now. And so while you're doing that, then just tweet out at SkywalkingPod and hashtag Skywalker selfie.
All right, we just took our picture.
Yay, we just did a Skywalker selfie. Yay.
Nice.
I'm so excited.
All right, I'm excited about this iTunes review coming up.
Yay! This is another 5-star review. So we want to give a big thank you to Marina3, who said, "Love this podcast.
Despite your insufferable egos."
Oh, No, she didn't say that. She was counteracting the other one. So she says, I'm assuming it's a she, says, Skywalking Through Neverland always has interesting stories and interviews. This family-friendly podcast is the best. I always look forward to the next podcast because I know Richard and Sarah will have something that I will be into. Keep up the amazing work.
And stop with the insufferable egos.
That's not her review.
Oh, that was from last week. I'm still hung up on that.
Well, we liked your comments on that, you guys. We're glad that you don't like those comments.
So, Marina 3, you did not write anything about insufferable egos. I was just poking fun at the last person who said that with our 1-star review.
And now, if you are listening now and want to get to know other listeners of Skywalking Through Neverland, please request to join our Facebook group, because Skywalking Through Neverland Facebook group is a closed group on Facebook, which means you have to click the button to request to join, and then you have to find us somewhere else, like on Twitter or our Facebook page, and say, hey, I requested to join the group, I'm a listener, I'm awesome, and my name is blah. And then we will see your request and we'll let you in.
Now, if they say that they're awesome, can we give them a button that says insufferable ego?
No, we can't. We're not going to make those buttons.
I see a new button coming up. Oh, come on. Hashtag insufferable egos. Come on.
No, bad.
Okay. Face huggers and scope walkers, do you want to see this new button? Hashtag insufferable egos?
No. You know what? I'll do a Halloween design before I'll do that.
So we'll get that in like 2035?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. All right. Now, you won't have to wait until 2035 to hear the next Skywalker of the Week jingle, but you will have to wait a couple of weeks because, like we were saying earlier, gonna give Rob Dellinger a couple of weeks off so he can do some fun stuff for us for the podcast stage.
Yes, and debut something new.
Yes.
Exciting.
Got some surprises coming your way.
Mm-hmm. And now here is a Skywalker story from Matt Clifton.
Skywalker stories. Sharing those Skywalker stories with Richard and Sarah. Skywalker stories.
Wherever your fandom lies, chances are you have a story to tell.
In our continuing Skywalker story series, we now hear from Matt Clifton.
Hey, Matt!
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Well, thanks for being on Skywalking to Neverland once again. So, we want to hear what your Skywalker story is.
Sure. This happened in Chicago when I attended a friend's get-together. It was known as PfeifferCon out in Chicago, Illinois. Gurney, Illinois. If you guys know Eric Pfeiffer, he's got a huge collection at his house, and every year or so he throws a big get together to tour his collection and all that. When I was in attendance, he had Tom Kane and Tim Rose over to just hang out with us. And
you were hanging out with Tim Rose and Tom Kane?
Oh yeah.
Oh, do tell.
But when we were all together and we were talking to Tim Rose, and he was wearing this neat kind of like tropical button-down shirt, and it had like a Miami and all that on it. It was a real Florida shirt. And somebody next to me had commented on his shirt. He said, "Oh, nice shirt." And he said, "Well, you guys know what this is, right?" And I kind of looked at it and it looked familiar, but he told me, he's like, "This is the official shirt that the toll booth wearers in Tampa and all that wear. It's kind of like the official toll booth uniform shirt."
Whoa!
You know,
was he cosplaying as a toll booth attendant?
And he could have. And I looked at it and I'm just like, I think it is. And he says he got it from a charity auction and all that. So I kept it in mind. And when I got home, I got home through the Tampa airport, and driving home, you had to go through a toll booth. So when I stopped at the toll booth, I looked, sure enough, same shirt.
That's
Now,
so weird.
he must have told you why he bought this shirt.
It was just it's just kind of like a cool kind of touristy shirt that you can't get anywhere else. It's kind of unique. It looks like something you would buy at like a Bell's Outlet or something that's a big department store here in Florida.
Huh.
But it's specific. It's a specific work shirt for the toll booth people.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
Tim Rose just wanted a cool shirt?
Yeah, just like a cool Florida shirt.
Interesting. Well, you know what shirt he can buy now that's really awesome?
What's
Is
that?
at the Wonderground Gallery, they have that new Cantina scene shirt. It's
Yes.
like loud, it's orange, it's amazing.
Yes, I've seen it at our downtown Disney. I'm sorry, Disney Springs.
Right.
Disney Springs.
So I think Tim Rose, who is what
He
he's a
is the
puppeteer,
puppeteer for Admiral Akbar
Right.
and Salacious Crumb.
he definitely needs that shirt.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? Next time we meet him, I'm not even going to talk about Admiral Akbar. See, I don't want to know anything about Akbar. Let's just talk toll booths.
Maybe he's a big fan of that the toll whatever that book is. The toll booth.
You're thinking about The Godfather, aren't you?
No.
Oh,
you know what? Let's all cosplay as like a big scene from The Godfather.
No, bad. the Phantom Toll Booth.
Phantom toll booth. Yes.
Yeah. That's
Which-
what I thought of when you
The
said
toll booth in The Godfather is now a phantom toll booth.
No.
I'm trying to put this all together in the
I
context
don't
of The
like
Godfather.
that scene.
No, it's a fun scene. You're remembering something
It is
different.
really not a fun scene.
Oh, poor Sonny.
All right.
Well,
Spoilers.
that is a
Haven't
great
seen.
story because now we have something to go off of next time we meet him, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to start talking about exact change, about freeways, about interchanges. It's gonna be so much fun. Well, Matt, tell everyone how they can get a hold of you if they want to hear more of your fun stories from conventions and Skywalker meetups and everything that you have going on.
Sure. You can find me at Facebook, Matt Clifton. Just look for the green face. On Twitter and Instagram under @thefinal1884, both for Twitter and Instagram. And I'm also on Fandom Podcast Network. You can find that on iTunes, Stitcher, all your favorite podcatchers, where I am on every once in a while, hosted by Kyle Wagner and Kevin Reitzel.
Excellent.
Boy, you are a pro at that
Yeah.
now.
That was pretty awesome.
All right, Matt, until next time.
Oh, Neverland on Onderon system? No, I was wrong one.
Star Wars Rebels Season 3 may be over, but we're not done discussing the many creative aspects of the series just yet. One of our favorite topics is the great score we get each and every week by composer Kevin Kiner. This week in our Star Wars Rebels Inspiration segment, we will be looking at Duel for the Darksaber from the Legacy of Mandalore episode and Mon Mothma's speech from the Secret Cargo episode.
So we'll start with Legacy of Mandalore, which is episode 16 in season 3 of Star Wars Rebels. Now, we're going to catch you up, give you a refresher here. In this episode, Sabine returns to her family home on Cronist. Is it Cronist?
Cronist.
Cronist. Her mission is to bring the Darksaber to her mother and recruit Clan Wren to help the rebel cause and unite Mandalore. Now, she's met with an icy reception as her own mother sells out Ezra and Kanan to Gar Saxon, who is now the leader of Mandalore. So Sabine and Gar Saxon end up in a duel to the death at the end with the Darksaber and Ezra's lightsaber. So it is this duel that Kevin Kiner scores so beautifully and what we are going to hear today. So let's give it a listen. Now, in the beginning, you hear that Force theme very prominently. And at this point, Sabine, she doesn't have the Darksaber here. So do you think Sabine is channeling the Force in some way? Is that what this music is representing?
I hope not.
No?
No,
Okay.
because I just don't want everything in Star Wars to always be so tied together.
Okay.
So I just don't want Sabine to have the Force.
What do you think about, like, in the episode prior to this, Trials of the Darksaber, when Sabine first picked up the Darksaber, she was saying, oh, it's heavy. And then as she moved along and trained with it, it got less heavy as she kind of grew a connection to the Darksaber.
Well, I think it's just like driving a car or operating pretty much anything. The more you use it, the easier it's going to be.
Okay.
Like, let's go with the car. I'm sure the first time we all drove a car, it felt like a tank, and it was just so hard to maneuver. Maybe that's just me. But that's the way I thought of this, that she had more of a connection, more of an understanding, and was a little bit more used to it. I wasn't getting the whole Force connection. I just thought there was a connection between she and the Darksaber. But I want to think that now she's more in tune with this Mandalorian weapon.
Okay. That's an interesting take on it. See, I think somewhere there's like the spirituality of Sabine is like kind of tapping into the Force a little bit. Like
Do you want to say the Force, or do you want to say just maybe her midichlorians are waking up?
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking she'll never be like a Force user, but I think that somewhere, whatever part of her, because all living things have the Force. So I think whatever part of her has the Force is tuning into that Darksaber, whether she realizes it or not.
Right. Well, they have midichlorians, but now she has to learn how to speak to the midichlorians to use that power.
So I think if anything, it's a subconscious thing with Sabine. It's not like a conscious thing like Jedi use the Force.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, of course it does. And she was being very resistant to the whole thing. So, of course, it's going to be heavy. It's going to be unwieldy. There's going to be something that blocks her from accepting this weapon the way she did when she picked it up, and it felt a little bit easier to handle.
Okay. Yeah, and so, I like that discussion. I like where this is going. So I really think Kevin Kiner uses the Force theme here partly to tie this into the Star Wars universe. Obviously, this is a big moment. And after the Force theme, we actually hear Sabine's theme. So we'll play a little bit of this.
As you know, nothing happens without reason. So if they're going to play the Force theme right before her theme, that is very telling that the Force is at work. I just don't want them to go there.
Okay, so you know what? Maybe the Force is at work in what's happening with the whole confrontation, not necessarily just in Sabine herself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like the Force is allowing this to happen and perhaps knows the outcome or is helping along the outcome.
You know, I'm very interested to hear what the Skywalkers have to say about that. About, is Sabine going to end up being a Force user, and do we want it to go that way?
Okay, yeah, please weigh in, you guys. Tweet at us at SkywalkingPod.
I think she'll be more of a powerful character if she is her own warrior.
Right.
She doesn't have to have the Force. She doesn't have to use a lightsaber anymore. Let's just have her be her own character.
Well, I do like how in Trials of the Darksaber she kind of mixed and matched her different skills. You know, she had her gauntlets that she flew, shot stuff from, and then she also used the Darksaber. It was kind of a nice mix that you really had to use your head to be able to fight like that.
Well, just like Ezra, he's got his little blaster, and he's
That's
got a
right.
lightsaber,
Yeah.
so he uses a little bit of both. So we have Kanan, we have Ezra. I don't want to keep beating this in, but let's just have her be a skilled warrior.
Yes.
In the Darksaber, maybe now she knows how to use a lightsaber in just hand-to-hand combat. Maybe an all-around character. I just want to keep the Force out of this.
Okay. Okay, well, Sabine's theme itself, now this is what we hear in this moment, and Sabine's theme was established in the previous episode, Trials of the Darksaber. Now, it ascends for one note, and then descends 2 notes in a minor key. So it kind of, what emotion does her theme evoke for you?
It's very triumphant.
Triumphant, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
When I first heard that, I'm thinking, oh, this is someone who's coming into their own, someone who is very triumphant in what they're doing.
Wow, I actually get a complete opposite feel from this.
Really? I don't picture her sitting on a couch reading a magazine when I hear this theme.
Well, no, I actually hear a very tragic theme here. Because, yes, it may ascend for one note, but it does that deep dive into 2 notes with that minor key. It's very da 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 da. It's very weepy, very, very tragic.
Okay.
So I actually had that opportunity to ask Kevin Kiner about Sabine's theme. In the May issue of Star Wars Insider, out now, if you're in your mailboxes.
If you're a subscriber.
Yes.
Now, did Kevin Kiner agree with me or with you?
And
if he agreed with you, we'll cut this part out.
No, he won't cut this part out. He actually didn't have too much to say about Sabine's theme, but I'm going to give you a little preview here. So, I asked him if he knew Sabine's backstory when composing her theme. Now, her backstory is pretty tragic.
Oh, very tragic.
Very, very tragic. So he said, absolutely, absolutely. There were times when it had to be positive and stuff, but that was part of the plan.
See, that's
a tragic theme.
So then what you're saying, if I'm understanding this, is Kevin Kiner agrees with me.
No.
It's confidence.
So,
it's positive.
So he's playing
when
her
you're winning
theme.
a war, you're being very confident in yourself.
So he's playing her theme very prominently, but to me it still sounds tragic.
Tragic?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear it again.
Okay. Okay, so while we were just playing that, you were like marching your arms.
Were pumping. Like,
okay.
Go, you can do it.
So you know what? You were pumping your arms though to like all those little 16th notes and things underneath her theme, like that dun 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 dun, that part.
Mm-hmm.
So that is not actually her theme. That's just kind of filler and background to make this exciting. And so I think you're hearing that part and thinking that that's very positive, which definitely this is what Kevin Kiner says, that he's making that part positive.
All right, now let's roll in the exact Sabine's theme that we should really be focusing on.
Okay.
All right, now if we're just focusing on that little...
Yes.
What do you call it? Phrasing?
That phrase.
Okay, if we're just dealing with that, I'm thinking someone who's on the brink of success.
Okay.
Who is just ready to come into their own, ready to win the war with the knowledge they've just learned.
Okay.
I'm thinking Luke Skywalker at the end of Star Wars when he's about to fire the proton torpedo and he's got to be in tune with the Force or it's never going to happen. That moment right there where all the little training that he did have comes into play right there because the Force guides that proton torpedo into the exhaust port. Thank you, Galen Erso.
All right, so let's actually look at Luke's theme versus Sabine's theme. And then it descends. So Luke's theme is... So the very beginning of both themes is a major fifth leap. Whereas Luke's theme is...
Okay.
See? So you're hearing that major fifth and equating the two, which, hey.
That's how we differ. You're hearing it musically. I'm just getting the emotion from it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's interesting.
That's very
fun.
interesting because now that you point it out, like, oh, okay, now I see what you're saying.
Right. So that major fifth is definitely a heroic. It's a heroic interval, and so it's used. The fact that it's used for both of them, they're heroes. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I wasn't.
You weren't off.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
No, you weren't off. You were hearing that heroic leap and being like, oh, that sounds heroic, which makes sense. And then what I'm hearing is those two descending notes after that for Sabine, and that to me is very tragic. It's very minor, very sad. So yeah. Okay. Interesting. But the fact that Kevin Kiner said that, yes, he used it in a positive way sometimes, but the overall theme is meant to be tragic.
I bet he ended the conversation right there. He was pulling a Filoni.
No, he wasn't. He actually went on to talk a lot more about Ezra's theme, but that's your tease. So guess what? You got to get the May issue of Star Wars Insider to read that interview that Trisha Barr and I did with Kevin Kiner.
All right. Lots to learn there.
Yes.
Let's learn more about these themes now. Now we're getting somewhere.
Absolutely. So we're going to continue with this battle. Now, Sabine's theme keeps repeating during their duel. Now, once again, Sabine is fighting Gar Saxon here. And the music just crescendos to a peak at the final moments of their battle. But there's a little caveat to the end here. So let's listen. To go to that final the note. That note, it wants to go to that G. It wants to go to that resolution, but it doesn't. And that's because when this track ends, Sabine has actually won the battle and is standing there much like Anakin over
Count Dooku.
She's got the two saber blades right there at
his neck.
At Gar Saxon's neck. Exactly. So at this moment, Sabine has a decision to make.
Now let's go ahead and roll in the clip from the show so you can hear how it turns out.
Yield!
I'll never yield to you, girl. You'll have to kill me.
That might be the Mandalorian way. But it's not my way. Not anymore. Mother.
No one threatens our family.
Gar Saxon was guilty of treason against the throne, collaboration with our enemy, and the execution of my fellow protectors. But when the rest of Mandalore finds out about his death, there will be chaos.
Perhaps Mandalore needs chaos if it's to become strong once again.
So Sabine chooses not to kill Gar Saxon, but actually lets him live. But then, of course, Gar Saxon, being a bad guy, tries to shoot her in the back.
So she just said that might be the Mandalorian way, but it's not her way. So it sounds like she really wants to turn the Mandalorian perception around.
Yeah. And I mean, she realizes she's a young thing, the world is changing. So she's trying to make sure everyone changes with it.
So I think they've got so much to cover in season 4.
Yeah, I really hope they go back to the
Yeah.
Mandalorians here.
Yeah. So, prediction, I think that Sabine will become the head of Mandalore
Okay.
and turn it into a rebellion state.
But then why don't we ever see Mandalorians in the movies?
Because we're not seeing everything in the movies. We're only following R2 and 3PO. We're not seeing, like, when people say, well, how come there's no Death Troopers in Star Wars?
Right.
Well, because we're not seeing every part of the facets of the Empire.
Yeah.
Besides that we're all killed off on Scarif. But when people say, oh, how come we don't see this or we don't see that? Because we're not doing a whole 360 movie here. We're not seeing everything that's going on. We're just seeing what's in the hero's perspective.
Okay, I think I tapped a nerve right there.
I'm just trying to clear things up.
That's okay. Well, I really love exploring Sabine's theme here, but should we move on to an episode that kind of encompasses the Rebel Alliance?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Okay.
Now we're getting somewhere.
All right.
With the Rebel Alliance.
So we are moving on to the episode Secret Cargo. Now, in Secret Cargo, which is episode 18 in Star Wars Rebels Season 3, the Ghost crew finds out that they must escort a certain secret cargo to a secret meeting location. Well, who does their cargo turn out to be?
Secret Squirrel.
No!
No, Mon Mothma.
The defecting senator, Mon Mothma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what did she say? She said a speech in the Senate that was very inflammatory, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was basically a price on her head the moment she let those words fly.
Yeah.
So she had to be transported very secretly, and it turned out that the Ghost crew was the ones that had to deliver her to Dantooine safely. And Hera, being awesome, knew to use the nebula to escape Thrawn's minions. But Thrawn, being very awesome, discovered her plan and decided to send people on the other side of the nebula to capture them. But once again, they thwarted Thrawn and his minions and got to Dantooine. So once they were above Dantooine, Mon Mothma gives this very heroic speech, which causes a great number of people and ships to join the Rebel Alliance, and they all appear out of space. So, this is a very heroic ending to the episode, and this is the track we are going to hear, Mon Mothma's speech. So, let's listen to this. What percussion do you hear?
I'm hearing a snare drum.
That's right.
Very, very militant.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So name some of the scores or music that you've heard snare drums in.
I want to say we've heard a lot of snare drums in the Clone Wars.
Okay.
Couldn't
well,
tell you anything in specific.
You know what? We've heard lots of drums in Clone Wars, not just necessarily snare drums, but I know a lot of the planets they go to, it's all different kinds of drums.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Kiner has quite the collection of drums. He did talk about drums in our interview. But you'll have to go to the May issue of Star Wars Insider to read about that. So, you know what immediately comes up to me is soundtracks like Independence Day or Apollo 13 or Saving Private Ryan or lots of military marches. And also in Soarin' Over California at Disneyland, you know the part where you see San Diego and the military helicopters?
Mm-hmm.
That's where you hear that big snare, that da-da-da-da. Very, very big snare drum. Solo, almost. So, yes, when you said military, very militaristic, snare drums are definitely used to depict the military, like, pretty much everywhere.
Very, very fitting for her.
Yeah. I mean, military marches, originally back when you had soldiers and armies, like during the Revolutionary War and stuff, you would have the drum and fife march with your company because that actually kept the beat for them to march to as fast as they could go to the next location.
Now, if you were going to assign a specific musical instrument to Mon Mothma, would it be a snare drum? Or would it, I'm thinking something more brass.
Maybe. Well, she's giving a speech, which is kind of the heralding of the Rebel Alliance. So
but
the trumpets,
I'm saying,
the trumpets are like the heralds of the orchestra.
Well, right. But I'm saying if you were going to assign a musical instrument, like when you think of Jabba, you think of a tuba.
Right. So I'd give her a trumpet because she's kind of the leader. Trumpets, I mean, I know I feel very bad saying this because I love French horns, but trumpets are kind of the leaders of the orchestra almost.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I'd probably give her a trumpet or even like a coronet, those herald trumpets, the ones that are straight, really long and straight, and give the fanfares.
Straight and to the point.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I can see that. That makes sense.
Yeah, I like that. Well, yay. All right, so let's hear more of this part that is playing during Mon Mothma's speech. Fanfares here, but in this point, Kevin Kiner is layering that snare drum with a beautiful legato theme. And legato means kind of slow and sumptuous. It's slower. It's largo. It's legato. It's the opposite of staccato, which is very.
What is that main instrument we're hearing that track? Not the snare drum.
You know what? He's layering a bunch of different instruments. So you hear strings, you hear some trumpets, you hear some brass. They're all playing chords, like long chords.
Right.
So it's hard. No one instrument is given a solo here.
Okay.
It's the whole orchestra working together.
Oh, very symbolic.
Yes. And the fact that this is very legato, it's kind of emotional. I believe it's depicting Mon Mothma's emotional appeal to her fellow rebels as she's saying this speech. It's like how deep she believes in what she's saying. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, very much so.
And honestly, this, to me, it sounds a lot like an American President soundtrack by Mark Shaman, which, if you've ever been in the queue to Soarin' Over California or Soarin' Over the World, you hear that soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, big time.
There.
That's all you hear.
Mm-hmm. So I love that feel. It's very lovely. Well, let's hear what happens when the ships start to appear after they've heard Mon Mothma's speech and are persuaded to join the Rebel Alliance.
That's triumph.
Yes, it is.
I'm also hearing, correct me if I'm wrong, a little bit of E.T. and a little bit of Jurassic Park in there too.
Huh. I could hear that. I mean, I was just hearing the whole theme overall, but I could hear you would hear some of that in there, like Journey to the Island from Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah, big time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. But at the end, did you notice that theme that was kind of called out at the end? Should I play it?
Please.
Those 6 notes?
Well, it sounds like they started with Jurassic Park and ended with Star Wars.
I see that. Dun 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 da 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 da.
Exactly. That's what I'm hearing.
Okay.
And then Kevin Kiner said, "Oh, wrong franchise."
Yeah.
And switched over to Star Wars.
Dun dun da 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 da. So it's the first 6 notes of the Star Wars theme. That's hilarious, though. It's not the whole theme, though, since this is just the beginning of the Rebel Alliance. So I really like that. How he just called out the Star Wars theme, but I think it's funny that you heard the Journey to the Island in there, which, yeah. Now that you said that, I'm totally going to hear that now every time I play that.
Oh, that Rebel Alliance has only just begun.
It has. So a triumphant moment and a triumphant moment to the score. And man, that should have been the last moment of Star Wars Season 3. Star Wars Rebels Season 3. But that's just my opinion.
Maybe when they release it on DVD and Blu-ray, they'll reorganize.
You know what? We can watch
the
them.
episodes.
We can watch them in that order.
There
How about
you go.
that? I think that will work. Well, that's pretty cool. You know what? Thank you guys for joining us for Inspirations, the music of Star Wars Rebels. And maybe Kevin Kiner will be at Celebration. Maybe we'll get to talk to him again.
Yeah. And say, did you want to combine franchises? Could we recommend maybe some Superman?
Ooh, yeah. Yay. Well, that heroic interval there. There you go, that major 5th.
Maybe some Planet of the Apes? And end it with The Incredible Hulk.
Oh, God. Isn't that very, slow theme?
Do, 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 do.
Oh, God.
Do, 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 do. All right, let's just say this. He's going to end it with the theme to the Dukes of Hazzard.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born.
That wraps up episode 163 of
Skywalking Through Neverland. We would like to thank Matt and Lindsay Busch,
Matt Clifton,
and all you Skywalkers for taking the time out of your schedule and listening to us each and every week and joining us on Facebook and Periscope.
We love it. And you know what? We also have a podcast soundtrack. Rob Dellinger has released an album on iTunes and all digital platforms entitled Skywalking Through Neverland Awesome Jingle Mix Volume 1. So if you purchase that, you will help support the show by supporting Rob Dellinger. Also, if you stream that, if you belong to a streaming service, stream any of the tracks from that, and that really helps out. Rob gets a cut of that as well.
I think after Celebration in Orlando, he'll have enough to write another soundtrack album.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah.
Yay! And just as a reminder, if you're heading to Star Wars Celebration Orlando, we have tons of Skywalker meetups. All the events are on our Facebook page, Skywalking Through Neverland, so go check that out. We want to meet up with our family of Skywalkers, so hopefully you will be there or join us on Facebook Live or Periscope.
We also hope that you Skywalkers can join us this September 17th to the 22nd on our podcast cruise.
Yay!
Some of the spots were just taken up since the last time we talked.
Uh-oh.
So there's only a couple of spots left, and we really want to see you on a cruise.
Yeah, and it's a Disney cruise on the Disney Wonder to Baja, Mexico. We're doing this with our friend, podcaster, and cruise buddy Randy Crane at Stories of the Magic. So if you want to get more information on that, please email cruise@storiesofthemagic.com, where you can get more info, a no-obligation quote, all of that, and you can request to join our group. Yay!
All right, now, if you want to join us and many other fun podcasts, well, you can head right over there to retrozap.com, where you can find shows like Brews and Blasters,
The Deucecast Movie Show,
Beltway Banthas,
The Sandcrawler Podcast,
Techno Retro Dads,
Starship Sabers and Scoundrels, or S-Cubed,
Kanada's Castle.
That's right, and Talking Apes TV,
which should be coming out now next week.
Oh, okay, awesome. Amazing.
All right. And you can also find Skywalking Through Neverland at jedinews.co.uk.
And Neil Lowry says, hi from the UK. Skywalking Through Neverland, never choke on their aspirations. I think that's a better button. I like that. Thank you, Neil.
But what if we have insufferable egos?
Well, no. Well,
are we going to choke on our aspirations then?
We never choke on our aspirations, no matter how insufferable our egos become.
Well, according to some, we do have insufferable egos.
According to one.
According to one.
Well, we like it, Neil. Thank you. All right. If you want to join us each week, more than just listening to us once, you can find us on Twitter or Instagram or Periscope. We are at Skywalking Pod. And you can join our Facebook group. And so, once again, you have to request to join that group on Facebook and find us somewhere else and say, hey, I requested to join. I am awesome. I'm a listener. All right.
There you go. Now, don't forget, next week we're going to be airing another episode of Classic Marvel Star Wars Comics with Randy Martinez, and he'll tell us all about his Celebration print and some unfortunate incidents concerning some art thieves.
Ooh, bad.
Now, stay tuned for bits and conversations that didn't make it into the show right after our credits roll in here, and we'll see if Sarah swore during this episode.
I think I did that before we pressed record.
All right, good. Keep it between us.
I know. Oh my goodness. So we are like a week out, you guys. A week out from Star Wars Celebration. So between now and then, always remember...
Neverland on Alderaan.
Some imagination, huh?
To our Skywalkers and Tweetwalkers, thanks for listening. Skywalking Through Neverland is created and produced by Richard and Sarah Woloski. Original music by Rob Dellinger. Creative consultant Mark Augushowitz. Technical advisor Peter Heitman. Facebook administrators Donald Wicks, Joey Pittman, and Norma Heitman.
Skywalking Through Neverland is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Any sounds, music, and clips played during this podcast are the property of their copyright holders. All original content is property of Skywalking Through Neverland, all rights reserved. Sorry, had to be said.
This is what you can look forward to on episode 163 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
I so messed that up. So, Sarah, let's go ahead and ask the volunteers out there, or ask if they can volunteers. So, Sarah, let's go ahead and ask for...
All right, so are you going to sneeze?
No. Sorry, there's a trash truck outside, and I can see the reflection in the neighbor's windows. So I wasn't sure if we should wait.
You look like you're going to sneeze.
I was going to sneeze on the go.
Scopewalkers, doesn't he look like he's going to sneeze? What do you call it when your frozen waffles don't cook all the way through? Says Hector Rios. He says...
Insufferable Eggos.
Eggos! Oh, that's so cute! Okay. Well, sorry that our internet was spotty, you guys. It happens. But thank you for...
I think that happened because Sarah swore before
whatever.
The show.
No, the internet was bad last night, too. Hush. You stop giving him likes. Bye. Okay.
Bye, Scopewalkers.
And bye, face huggers. Thank you for sticking with us.
Yeah, sorry it was so herky-jerky.
Yeah.